Good evening, everyone. So excited to have you back again. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first ever CA Connect webinar, my name is Wendy O'Brien, and I'm going to be sharing with you today why it's so important to have a CA at a screening event and why some of these can be just such good fun and great opportunities to share chiropractic. If this is your first ever CA Connect, then be sure to check out the previous ones on the LCW members page. And let's get started. So I'm sure lots of us CAs have been asked to join in at screenings, and I know that they're additional to the normal kind of office hours. So it can be a little bit hard to work out why we should do those. Screening was actually my first job that I had as a chiropractic assistant. I was out in a mall in Crawley, which was a very busy shopping center on a Saturday morning. But the kind of people coming through were always a little bit too busy to talk, or, busy trying to do their shopping, dragging kids around. And it really gave me a great insight into the amount of effort that goes into these kind of things. I had many long days standing there and learned some absolutely phenomenal tips about what to do, what not to do. And I just thought I'd share some of those with you. Over the years, I've done many different kinds. So I've done the shopping malls. I've done the school fetes and things, which are great fun, especially if you've got a niche like pediatrics in your center. I've done corporate ones as well. So it's really nice to be able to get out and do more business talks. So I just want you to know that any kind of opportunity in your office is really great to turn that into a screening venue. So we'll start this tonight with the mission of the LCW, which is to inspire and support women in chiropractic to thrive while advancing the principles and practice of chiropractic. We commit to serve the vitalistic principles of chiropractic as a subluxation-focused and drugless profession. So on that mission, I'm totally fired up to inspire and support you guys tonight. Hopefully you'll get some nice tips from it. So, as I say, screenings can take place in many different forms. This screening actually belongs to Kimberly Gorham, who you heard on a previous webinar and who's going to be speaking on our next one. And they focus on the free 5-minute checkup, back pain, neck pain. It's great that we're able to reach so many people, but we know that pain is one of the key indicators that will have people stop, as well as the team that's there. So if we're able to focus on getting people's attention, it's nice to kind of have a big, bubbly welcome for them. It's the first kind of way they're ever going to look at your office. And it's really nice to actually just connect with people. I always see the screenings as a huge opportunity for people to learn more about chiropractic. But it can be a little bit daunting, especially as a chiropractic assistant. They're completely unpredictable. We can have so many things go against us, whether that's the weather. I've had gazebos blowing away. We've had malfunction equipment. Somebody's left something at the office. We've had people come up that were against chiropractic. We've had people come up that believe that there's nothing that can be done for them. You really just never know who's going to approach you on any one day. So the nice fun thing about screenings is that you can start every one afresh. It doesn't matter what the last one was like. It doesn't matter what the next one's going to be like. That one day really matters to someone. So how do you avoid becoming the salesman? One of the biggest objections I've heard from CAs actually wanting to take part in screenings is that they don't want to be a salesman. They don't want to be pushy, and I hope none of you are ever like this guy, but it's a really awkward role when you're trying to sell something to somebody who has no idea what they want. They didn't set out in the shopping center that morning to come and buy a chiropractic voucher. You've got to you're not trying to compete with that new pair of shoes, because you're never going to win. So what I thought I'd do is just try and have a challenge of your mindset. Because if you think that you're going out and doing a screening to sell vouchers, it's not going to be much fun. If you can flip selling vouchers into the fact that of what they get when they purchase the voucher from you. So I always think of it that the voucher is just the incentive to help people. A voucher is the chance for somebody to come into your office and get the help they need and get that life-changing results. Another option that people have is that when you're out in these screening events, obviously you've got to do a lot of talking to strangers, which is very uncomfortable for some people. So I always flip that around in that you're there to actually listen to people. So many people will approach you. Yes, you make the, hi, is there anything I can help you with today? Or, would you like your free posture check today? But then most people that come in towards you, or most people that you interact with, have got a story to tell. And you're there to hear it. Over my time, I have had people that have made me cry at screening venues with the things that they have going through. And they just don't know where to try next. So the opportunity of being at one of these screening events is just fantastic, because you just get to interact with all these people who are looking for an alternative to what they know, and you have the answer. So you just get to hear their story, and then you can relate that back to how you think chiropractics either helped somebody in your office, or how you think that you might be able to help them or not, and just be completely honest with them and offer them what you have. If you have a client in front of you who's a particular challenge, it's perfectly okay to either refer them to the doctor if they're with you, or to say that's exactly the sort of thing that we cover in our office. This is exactly why we do an hour's assessment back at the office, or we take x-rays, or whatever it is that you're offering, and relate it back to what they've told you. Another issue with the selling point is that you're there to get new clients. I always think of that as you're there to give the hope. If you give the hope in the correct way and you give it authentically, the new client part will follow. But if you go out with the intention to net people or to get new clients, people can see that coming a million miles off, and it's really uncomfortable. It's really creepy, and nobody even wants it. So ditch the whole thought of you're going out to get new clients. As soon as you go out there to give hope, it's really easy. You can be completely generous with your time. You can be completely generous with your words. And then as a consequence, they'll be more interested. And always remember that these screenings are a great opportunity. Most people think that they're there to tell people what chiropractic is. I'd flip that round into the fact that you're able to educate people what chiropractic is. So a lot of people come into the booth going, oh, you guys are back pain, headaches, oh, I've got this crick in my neck. Oh, I don't need a chiropractor because I'm feeling great. And you can see their posture's off. So actually, if you're there to say, well, did you know that chiropractic is much more than that? Did you know that chiropractic helps you function, helps your brain capacity, helps all sorts of things? Most people can be intrigued by that because they don't know it. We assume, we get caught up in our own little office bubble that everybody knows what it is that chiropractors do, and they don't. So just being at these venues, being open to the people that can come towards you is just fascinating. It's absolutely amazing, the kind of things that you can get involved in. And it all just starts with flipping that mindset and going, right, I'm here to help people. I'm here to listen to people. I'm here to give them hope, and I'm here to educate them. And you got to have some fun. I mean, no one wants to stand anywhere for hours on end, drudgery. You want to have that smile. You want to have the nice posture. You want to have a bit of a laugh. I'm highly competitive. I love setting myself targets. I have a fabulous book called Go for No, which I've read, which inspired me to actually have 10 people turn down the free posture check. So when I'm saying to people, would you like to have a check? And they go, no, I don't take any of it personally. I just count it as one of my no's. Or I might count the number of vouchers that I'm going to get throughout the day, or the number of leaflets I'm going to hand out in the next 5 minutes. But it's about keeping engaged with what you're actually doing and remembering that you're not there to kill the time till you can pack up and go home. You're there to really connect with as many people, bit of eye contact, bit of a smile, and some sort of question, and vary what you're asking so you're not becoming robotic, just asking the same thing. So for some people, I know competition and kind of that kind of measuring might not work, but you could set out to see how many people you could make smile. If you're on a kind of fate stall and there's music going, you'll regularly see me kind of dancing along with it. Just relax and have a bit of fun. You know, kids are walking past it, they're great to engage with. If someone's got a dog, it's always nice to pat the dog and just be relaxed around the whole thing, okay? And the other reason that I find CAs really struggle with doing screenings is because they're not the doc. So the not the doc thing was a huge thing for me, and you do need to be aware there are some severe regulations around what you can and can't say to people. I would never tell people that you can definitely help them. You're always just there in an advisory capacity of that is something that, you know, we would look at your initial assessment. So just know your guidelines. If you're unsure of those, speak to your chiropractor. But most of the questions that people have, you can help with. You can be there and engage with somebody deeply by just knowing what response to give them. So most questions that come up at a screening are no different to somebody that would pick the phone up and call your office. People are going to ring up and say, I've heard, can you help with this? And you can answer that exactly as you would if they rang your office. You can also feel completely confident to refer it. I'm not sure. Let me phone the office and I'll just see if I can get that back for you. Give me your email and I can get back to you when I get back in the office and I have a chance to ask my doctor. So if they don't want to purchase the voucher, that's fine. You can still help answer their question, and you can still deal with it in a very professional way. Obviously, we've discussed knowing what you're allowed to say and not say. The talk your language, their language, I've put that on there because it's a very easy trap to fall into, kind of hiding behind terminology or chiropractic phrases. Remember, this is not a report visit. This might be the first time they've ever heard of chiropractic or spoken to anyone in the industry. They just want to chat. So just imagine that, you know, you're back telling people that you've just become a chiropractic assistant and everyone says, what are you doing? And you have to explain a little bit about your role and what chiropractic is. That's usually what people want. They want to know that it's about allowing the body to function as it should. It's about allowing their innate intelligence to grow, heal, and function every organ and cell in their body. It's about making sure that they can live the life they want to lead. And you can do that in a conversation way. Share your experience and office stories. So the phase facts tell, stories sell. It's absolutely crucial that you know some stories from your office when you go on these screenings. You can relate those directly to the people that approach you, and they're genuine and they're authentic and they're real. And obviously the other point there is to be able to ask the questions. So when somebody's telling you that they've got these things going on, you don't have to have an answer for them. You can delve a little bit deeper and allow them to give you the answers. So asking them what it's like living with what they've just poured over you really helps them connect to the fact that they probably have stopped because they're looking for a change in their life. They don't know whether you're right or wrong for them, but they just know that something's got to change. And looking at what the future's like if nothing changes is another way, depending on the person, of just helping them see that they actually do want to make that decision. They want to come into your office and take up something. And who else is impacted? I found that's amazing if their spouses are around, because most of the time people will suffer incredibly difficult situations and put up with it for themselves. But the spouse is the one, or the kids are the one that they would move heaven and earth for. So when they can see the impact that that's having, they're able to, again, feel more like they want to do something about this. So I'm going to share with you the story of Archie. Archie is one of my favorite clients at the moment. He is an absolute diamond. And I met him at a summer fete. Unbeknown to me that day, he'd walked into the fete actually telling his wife that he couldn't carry on like this and something had to change. And it was on that day that he met me. And we normally do around 5 to 10 minutes chatting with people at these sort of screenings. And when I saw Archie, he was what can only be described as broken. He came to us, he was very skeptical. His wife practically dragged him up to the stand, and he started pouring out what was happening. And he'd had 2 lots of spinal surgery. He didn't think that there was anything else that could be done. He didn't realize that there would be any consequences to what had happened. He was on so much pain medication. He didn't have a reason to get up in the morning. And I ended up chatting to Archie and his wife for around 35 minutes. Now, it was absolutely heartbreaking hearing his story. But at one point in that conversation, when I was able to explain what we did, I saw a glimmer of hope. And he purchased a voucher on a I've got nothing to lose basis. He's had the most amazing transformation by coming in, which I'm not going to go into too much. But the point I want to make is that despite all his medical intervention, despite all the quality of life stuff that he had going on, he was desperate for some kind of help. And all I had to do was listen to him and just share what we did. It's not down to us to then attach ourselves to the result of whether they do or don't take up care when they've had their assessment, or whether they look like the kind of person that can afford care. It's just about being there for them and just hearing it. And I thank everything that I was there that day to hear him, because it's literally changed his life. So yeah, I thought this was a beautiful quote to share with you. Authenticity is more compelling than perfection. And the reason that you can do anything without needing to be the doctor and connect to anyone is because you're coming from an authenticity that you know you have this hope available to people. And it's really exciting to me, whether I've got 1 or I've got 27, or at the end of the day, each one matters. And I think on that day, I don't even remember how many vouchers we sold. I don't think it was a particularly busy promotion, but it stands in my mind as being some of the best hours I've ever spent, because the impact that you see as a CA is you see them from the start of their journey all the way through. So I just want you to know that you really can totally help people at these screenings and have a voice that the community is wanting to hear. And it's really, really good fun to be able to do that. So with that said, my top tips are knowing your mission for the day. So knowing that could be the statistics, it could be the how many vouchers you want, but it's more than that. It's looking at the fact that you can make a real difference today. Even if you've just planted a seed in somebody to go home and look at chiropractic, even if you've just made somebody smile that didn't even get checked, you can really create a powerful day out of doing a promotion. Laugh and smile. I think BJ said to it, or Didi, I always get the confusion between which one said it, but never take yourself too damn seriously. And at promotions, it's really true. It can be very intense and very, formal, but, go and have some fun with these things. The world is waiting for us to go out there and reach them. Be authentic, as I've said, share your story, know your stories, and just connect to the person in front of you. and don't be attached to the outcome. If it's not right for them at the moment, you may have just planted something that will come back in the future. We've had so many people come back to us at screenings and say they've seen us before and then they came back. They're not rejecting you. I can't say that enough. You are not personally being rejected if somebody doesn't get screened or somebody doesn't buy a voucher. There's no need to feel like you failed. They're just not in the right space right now to be able to deal with it. And as long as you've shared it, that's all that you needed to do. And that was your mission. So connect to those things and just have some fun. It is great. You are born with the ability to change someone's life, so don't waste it. So don't go through the motions at screenings and just wait for the clock to tick. Don't leave your DC to be the one that's going out there every weekend and you just kind of bumbling along. Really get out there, throw yourself into it, grow your team and be a really important asset to your team. And have a great time. So I've come to the end of my slideshow. So I'm just going to close that one back down so you've got me again. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope you've got some tips from it. I'd love to hear where you're going out. I'd love to hear any of your experiences. If you've got any horror stories of screenings, pretty much a gazebo, pretty much going through a jeweler's windows right up there with it. But yeah, share those with me on the Facebook page. I'd absolutely love to hear them. We've also got a couple of events coming up that you may not be aware of. Next, on the 15th of March, you have the fabulous Kimberly Gorham, and she is going to be talking with you on how to turn conversations within the center into marketing and screening opportunities. So there's going to be some great tips to really grow your center. And then anyone here who's listening in on the European side of the world, those of you may or may not have seen, we have a European Rise retreat happening in May in Malta. And I want you to know it's open for everybody. Members, non-members, DCs, CAs, spouses, you're all welcome to come. Spaces are very limited. There's only 12 places available. There's going to be spa days. There's going to be a cruise. We've planned so much to have fun. But at the same time, we also have the great personal development and practice growth that's going to come from that. So again, if you'd like some more information about that, please do get onto the Facebook page and let me know, and I will be more than happy to send you the details. I've had a great time chatting with you this evening, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.